Good morning. I'm Natalie with KQNK. Today is Tuesday, February 20th. Currently, with fair skies, it is 30 degrees. The humidity is 79%. The wind speed is west at 6 miles per hour. The barometric pressure is 30.08. The dew point is 24 degrees, and the current wind chill is 24 degrees. It's 8:04 and time for Kansas News.
Kansas Information Network News, I'm Jen Austin. Possible arson charges after 2 Topeka churches were set on fire over the weekend. Roxanne Stewart has more.
Law enforcement responded to fires set at 2 churches in Topeka this weekend, and while on the scene, questioned a 15-year-old teen about the fires and then arrested him and booked him in the Shawnee County Juvenile Detention Center on arson charges. Now one of the churches has said it will pursue charges in that case. The Unitarian Universalist Fellowship sustained serious damage from the fire and is looking at charges. Trinity Presbyterian saw damage to its fence and trees near the church. I'm Roxanne Stewart.
Police in Liberal have received several reports of vehicle burglaries over the past few weeks and are looking for people to come forward and report additional burglaries. Plus, they're looking for camera footage that might show suspicious activity. They're also sending the reminder to keep vehicles locked and valuables removed. Anyone with information should call the Liberal Police Department non-emergency number with those tips. This is Kansas Information Network News.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes.
Good morning. I'm Natalie Hadley with your KQNK News. Brought to you by Firebolt Ag, LLC, serving all of your chemical and fertilizer needs. Kansas Department for Aging and Disability Services Secretary Laura Howard announced on Monday that she has appointed David Anderson to serve as commissioner for the agency's newly formed Aging Services Commission. The Aging Services team, now a separate entity from the Long-Term Services and Supports Commission, reflects the agency's commitment to addressing the needs and challenges of the state's aging population with more focus and energy. Anderson is a licensed behavioral health provider who spent the last 36 years at High Plains Mental Health Center in Hayes, starting as a service provider and later holding various leadership positions. He's also been an adjunct faculty member at Fort Hays State University Psychology Department for many years. Over the years, Anderson has served on numerous statewide committees and boards, and he was appointed by Governor Kelly in 2019 to serve on the Behavioral Sciences Regulatory Board, where he currently serves as vice chair. Anderson said he looks forward to traveling across the state and engaging with local communities, partners, and stakeholders in meaningful dialogue and planning to create positive movement and lasting change. Anderson grew up in Woodinfield, Kansas, where he earned his bachelor's degree in psychology from Southwestern College. He moved to Western Kansas in 1985 to attend Fort Hays State University, where he earned a master's degree in clinical psychology. The Kansas Department for Children and Families has announced new contracts for foster care services in the state, as St. Francis Ministries, a faith-based nonprofit accused of financial mismanagement, will not have its current contract renewed. The change comes after years of investigation into St. Francis. In 2022, the former CEO and IT director of St. Francis Ministries was indicted and accused of plotting to defraud the foster care provider of millions. Robert, Father Bobby Smith, was also accused of using St. Francis credit cards to pay for personal expenses, including clothing and jewelry. The state's longstanding foster care problems, such as high numbers of children in the system sleeping in offices and social workers spending their time shuttling kids from place to place, includes simple volume. According to February 2023 data, the national rate of entry into foster care is 2.37 per 1,000 children. However, the rate of entry in Kansas is 4.36 per 1,000 children. State contracts require caseworkers to maintain a maximum caseload of 25 to 30 children, though they frequently exceed that number. Data from 2021 showed 42% of St. Francis Ministries caseworkers and 24% of KVC Kansas caseworkers were assigned more than 30 children, and St. Francis also had more than 100 children who were not assigned a caseworker. Howard said the new contracts will adjust caseload standards for case managers, setting the rate at 12 to 15 cases of children in foster care or kinship care and 8 cases of children in treatment foster care per manager. As of Monday, the Department for Children and Families had 5,895 children in foster care, the smallest number of children in care since January 2014. Case management providers, known as CMPs, provide foster care services for families across the state, and the current 4 contractors are TFI, KVC Kansas, Cornerstones of Care, and, until July, St. Francis Ministries. Kansas is just a month out from holding a presidential preference primary for the first time since 1992 and only the 3rd time in Kansas history. Kansas usually holds caucuses. According to the Kansas Secretary of State's website, a presidential preference primary means vote totals are given to a political party, which will then allocate delegates to candidates at the national convention rather than just one winner for the state. Today, Tuesday, February 20th, is the deadline to register for the March 19th presidential preference primary, and voters wishing to change their party affiliation also must do so by today. In addition to the move from traditional caucuses, there's another big deadline to be aware of that's different than other elections. Most notably is that mail-in ballots need to be in the county's possession by 7 p.m. on Election Day. There's no 3-day grace period. If you send your ballot to the post office on Election Day, your vote will not count because it doesn't matter what the date is on the envelope. Only Democrats and Republicans will be voting in the March 19th primary. In Nebraska news, a deputy has been treated and released while a dog remains quarantined at a local veterinary clinic following a dog biting incident on Friday in Curtis. The Frontier County Sheriff's Office reported that deputies responded to a residence in the 300 block of East 5th Street to arrest an individual who had a felony warrant. However, the individual refused to open the door and barricaded himself inside. The Sheriff's Office said the individual was eventually tased and arrested, and while doing so, they said a husky attacked a deputy and bit him, and the deputy then shot the husky to stop the attack. The husky was taken to a local veterinarian for treatment where it is alive and has been quarantined for rabies observations. The deputy was transported to Great Plains Health in North Platte where he was treated and released. A Beaver City man has been charged with causing thousands of dollars to a vehicle and threatening to burn down a house. 28-year-old Ethan Geis of Beaver City was charged in Furnace County Court with terroristic threats and criminal mischief, $1,500 to $4,999. According to the arrest affidavit, on January 31st, a sergeant with the Furnace County Sheriff's Office received a report from 2 individuals who stated Geis attached a chain to his vehicle and attempted to pull one of the individuals' vehicles over an embankment. The sergeant said the vehicle sustained an estimated $2,000 in damage. One of the individuals also told the sergeant that Geis threatened to burn down their house with them in it, causing them to take turns staying up at night out of fear of Geis. Geis is scheduled to appear in Furnace County Court for arraignment at 1 p.m. on February 26th. An Oxford woman will spend 5 years behind bars for selling methamphetamine and fentanyl, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. 31-year-old Samantha Miller was sentenced to federal prison on Friday for conspiracy to distribute methamphetamine and fentanyl. From July 2021 to July 2022, Miller worked with others to sell methamphetamine and fentanyl in and around Kearney, according to the attorney's office, and an informant bought meth from a drug dealer who was spotted picking up the drugs from Miller's home. Investigators later learned that Miller was sending the drug money back to Mexico. After her prison sentence, Miller will serve a 5-year term of supervised release as there's no parole in the federal system. I'll be back with more in just a moment.
Firebolt Ag is a full-service fertilizer and chemical retailer. They customize products for individual farmers' needs, with the primary focus being customer profitability. Let Josh and Jack help you get the most out of your farm ground. They also provide in-house marketing with Ron Wall of Flatwater Solutions. Visit Ron in Phillipsburg or call Josh at 785-854-8484 or Jack at 308-840-2819. Firebolt Ag, your leader in agriculture.
Now we'll hear from Fig Millen and Lady J basketball coach Cherry Brooks to update on the team and their game tonight in Hill City.
I'm here with head girls basketball coach Cherry Brooks. Coach, last week was a pretty busy week for you. You played on a Tuesday and a Thursday. We'll start off with the Trigo game as you travel down to Waukene on Tuesday. You win that, the varsity and the junior varsity. Let's talk about how you thought you did.
JV girls, we actually lost that game 25-36, but I felt like the girls played better in that game than they had against Oberlin and Smith Center the previous week. We had fewer turnovers, which was a relief. We've been really trying to work on cutting those back, but we lost 25-36. We just kind of struggled shooting. Chloe had 8, Leah had 6, and then we had several others that contributed 2 or 3, but just couldn't get shots to fall, especially in the fourth quarter. But then the varsity girls, they came out with a win, 47-34. We started off a little slow with things, but we were able to really propel in the fourth quarter. Janessa had 16 points, Peyton had 13, and Kinsey had 10. And I just felt like in the fourth quarter, things kind of came around a little bit better, and we hit some big shots. They were playing a zone on us, which kind of slows things down a little bit. We had a little bit of issues stopping their penetration in the first half, but then in the second half we were able to make some different arrangements at halftime and kind of cut the penetration problems down. But then they had a post player, the Schubert girl, that kind of stepped up and took it to the hole a couple times, but we just were able to get some steals with some transition hits and then hit some free throws and a couple other shots in the fourth quarter, which really helped get us over the hump there and come out with a win.
Now, the week before, we had talked about Rose Stevens and her TMP team, and they'll be ready to play Norton. And obviously, you did a very great job because you won that night. Let's talk about the TMP game.
Well, we came out with a great start. Janessa hit 2 threes. They came out in a zone against us, and we worked the ball around and were patient and ran some plays that Janessa was able to get open on the outside and hit those shots down. But, TMP, they played a good game. They just were not able to shoot successfully from the outside like they have in some of their other games. So it just wasn't a good shooting night for them. But the other thing that was beneficial for us is when they were shooting those long shots, we were able to box out and get the rebound, and so they weren't able to get second attempts very often, so that really cut back on their scoring opportunities. And they were trying to shut down our outside, and then our inside game started clicking, and Peyton had a great game. And we had several with, good rebounding nights and everything. So I really feel like it was a good night for us to get a win at home, especially on senior night, and get several girls the opportunity to play as well towards the end.
Let's talk about those seniors, if you can recall all those seniors that night. They've given you quite a few years of good play as you've been an assistant and a varsity coach.
Yeah, we had 6 seniors, and the ones that have been with us through it all are Janessa Reuter and Mackenzie Clydesdale and Lauren Harding and Madison Yonkin. And then we did have 2 girls move into our system, but they've played the last 2 years, which is Kayla Rusink and Ellie Frick. And they're a great group of girls, very dedicated. They've been to almost every practice and extra event that we've had. They've really committed themselves and have been coachable and have just really made adjustments and grown throughout their 4 years here. It's been a good group of girls to work with, and it'll be a hard group to replace.
Coach, this week, Tuesday, you'll be traveling down to Hill City to play the Lady Ringnecks. What do you know about their squad?
They're struggling this season, but yet they're improving. They work hard when they're out there. They shoot a lot of 3-point shots. They in the last couple games that I've watched them play, they've played a lot of zone. We'll have to definitely box out if they get those long shots again and eliminate their opportunities. But I really hope to pressure them from the outside so they can't get those threes as much as they've gotten in some of the other games. And we'll also try to put on our press and see if we can create some havoc there, because they do tend to kind of struggle with press defense at times. So we'll have to have our A game on. But hopefully we can come out with a win to help our sub-state seedings as well. The JV that night is only going to have 2 quarters, and that's going to start at 4 o'clock as of now.
Well, Coach, we're going to wish you best of luck on Tuesday when you travel down to Hill City for the varsity and junior varsity game. Reporting for KQ&K, I'm Fig Millen.
Thank you, Fig and Coach Brooks, and good luck to the Lady Jays tonight in Hill City. Your menu today for Eisenhower Elementary School. For lunch, you'll be having Western bean bake, cheese stick, corn, pears, cornbread, and milk. For Norton Community High School and Junior High, your lunch today will be corn dog, fruit, and milk. And for Northern Valley Schools, your lunch today will be soft shell taco, salad, vegetable, and fruit. I'm Natalie Hadley. Your KQ&K News was brought to you by Firebolt Ag, LLC, farmers helping farmers to succeed. You can contact Firebolt Ag today to get the most out of your farmland. Your KQ&K weather forecast is being brought to you by Hinkle Termite and Pest Control, your Norton experts for all of your pest control needs. Your forecast for today, it should be sunny with a high near 69 and a south wind of 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, it should be partly cloudy with a low around 34 and a south wind around 5 miles per hour, becoming northwest after midnight. On Wednesday, it should be mostly sunny with a high near 66, and on Wednesday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 38. I'll be back with the rest of your forecast in just a moment.
When you got bugs, we know what a nuisance that can be.
Lock 'em out. From Hinkle Termite and Pest Control, Lock 'em Out is our very effective residential insect prevention program. We'll come to your place and treat your foundation plus all insect entryways. And while we're there, receive a free termite inspection. Call Mr. Rich Wenzel, our certified technician in Norton, at 785-202-0167. That's 202-0167.
Continue with your weather forecast. On Thursday, it should be sunny with a high near 60. On Friday, sunny with a high near 61. On Saturday, it should be sunny with a high near 66. On Sunday, sunny with a high near 70. And on Monday, it should be mostly sunny with a high near 75 and breezy. Currently, with fair skies, it is 30 degrees. The humidity is 79%. The wind speed is west at 6 miles per hour. The barometric pressure is 30.08. The dew point is 24 degrees, and the current wind chill is 24 degrees. Your weather was brought to you by Hinkle Termite and Pest Control right here in Norton. You can call Hinkle Termite and Pest Control at 785-202-0167 for all of your pest control needs. It is 8:22.
With today's inflation straining your budget, your Kansas Farm Bureau membership can help keep more money in your pocket. Save up to 75% off preferred home and office products with Office Depot. Special package pricing with Lifeline screenings. Exclusive savings on post-frame buildings with QSI. And join the Kansans who've switched to Kansas Farm Bureau health plans. And enjoy significant savings on nationwide medical health care coverage. Join today. For a full list of benefits, visit kfb.org/benefits.
Your Kansas Sports Report is being brought to you by United Northwest Federal Credit Union, where everything they do for you.
United Northwest Federal Credit Union is excited to announce that we will host our 75th annual meeting at the St. Francis of Assisi Parish Hall in Norton, Kansas on March 18th, 2024, beginning at 5:30 p.m. Supper and prizes will be provided to those in attendance. Reservations can be made by calling the office at 785-877-5191 by March 13th, 2024. Federally insured by NCUA.
KIN Sports, I'm Spencer Dupuis. Kansas State fell to Texas 62-56 last night in Austin. Arthur Kaluma led the way with 15 points. Tyler Perry scored 13, and David Gasson added 12 points. The Wildcats fall to 15-11 and 5-8 in the Big 12. They return to action Saturday when they host number 25 BYU at 1 p.m. The men's AP poll was released yesterday, and Kansas dropped from 6 to 9 following a 1-1 week. They'll be off until Saturday when they host Texas at 5 p.m. Other Big 12 teams in the top 25 include Houston at 2, Iowa State at 6, Baylor at 11, Texas Tech at 23, and BYU just holding on at 25. Over to the women's side, Kansas State fell 3 spots to number 10 after a 1-1 week. The one loss was in double overtime last week. Other Big 12 teams in the top 25 include Texas staying put at number 5, West Virginia moving up 2 spots to 22, Oklahoma standing pat at 23, and Baylor dropping 4 spots to 24. KIN Sports, I'm Spencer Dupuis.
Seasons come quick, and before you know it, your yard will be ready for the mower. Be prepared to hit the grass mowing this spring with a well-maintained mower. Give Prairie Land Partners a call to have your equipment inspected and serviced by a John Deere certified technician to ensure worry-free mowing this spring. Don't wait. Beat the rush by calling Prairie Land Partners to schedule your mower today.
Delivering the right solution. Prairie Land Partners.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and
Norton County Hospital and Medical Clinic would like to remind you that you have the power to protect yourself from heart disease. Making preventative appointments with your primary care provider is the best step in keeping your heart health in check. Small, heart-healthy actions like adding more movement to your day or choosing healthy foods can have a big impact on protecting your heart as well. Start today. Your heart will thank you tomorrow.
Are you living with pain and discomfort in your feet, legs, thighs, or butt? It may be a sign of a serious health problem called peripheral artery disease, or PAD. The most common symptoms of PAD are burning, aching, numbness, or discomfort in your leg or hip muscles while walking. A higher quality of life is possible. If you have any kind of recurring leg pain, talk with your doctor. Describe when it happens and how it feels. Go to heart.org/PAD to learn more.
Kansas Agriculture Network Markets.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Greg Akagi. Right now, let's check the weather.
We have a mostly clear sky this morning, just a few high-level clouds in the central part of the state. The temperatures ranging in the 20s and 30s, but a big warm-up expected today as high pressure builds in across the region with a high temperature in the upper 60s. We'll have relative humidity running at about 25%. So that will be pretty low for outdoor burning. Tomorrow, a warm-up expected with the highs in the 60s and 70s, well above average for this time of year. The chance of light precipitation Wednesday night into Thursday, cooler by the end of the week, but a warm-up next weekend. And another significant storm system may come in by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. In northwestern Kansas, partly cloudy today with a high near 70, sunny with a high in the upper 60s in north central Kansas. Sunny and not as cool, 68 degrees likely in the northeast part of the state. Partly sunny and 72 today in southwestern Kansas. Tonight's low in the upper 30s. Sunny, warmer, low 70s today in south central Kansas. And sunshine and dry today in southeast Kansas with a high 70. I'm meteorologist Ann Holliday.
We look at the early calls this morning. First off, on the livestock side, did have stronger beef and pork sales on Monday. Of course, not a lot of activity taking place. Did see some deliveries against the cattle contracts as well. Cash expected to be steady to better on the cattle side this week. The overnight grain market, we saw trade higher, wheat 4 cents higher, corn about 3 cents higher, soybeans 8 to 9 cents higher overall. And pushing back some of the rainfall, one of the main things of seeing this market go higher down in the Argentina area. Most of that crop is made, but nonetheless, drier conditions are a concern. This is the Kansas Ag Network.